Hello, welcome back to Only Pistols. Today we're having a look at a BSA Scorpion. This is a 177 spring-powered break barrel air pistol. Let's start by looking at the markings on it. And most of the markings are on the top. So on the top of the barrel, BSA Guns Limited England, the BSA Piled Arms device, the caliber 177, and then the model BSA Scorpion. No other markings on the side, on either side, but on the bottom of the barrel breech there, you've got the serial number and the prefix. In this case, it's a PA. So starting with the sights, rear sights adjustable for windage and elevation, and they're both click adjustable, so very good. This rear sight is actually not the original one to the pistol, but we'll touch on that again later. But functionally the same. This one's also got an interchangeable rear sight blade, so you can either have the square notch or a little shallow V. Foresight is attached to the top of the barrel. You've got a bit of ramping there just to cut down on glare. It's got a barrel shroud, a hood, and this is an original one denoted by having these little stipples on them, little cuts. So a nice thing. You can get replacements, but they tend to just be plain. So slide that off, and what you've got is just a plain sight blade that is just keyed in place there onto the foresight. So just slip that back on, and this is how they got lost. They're easy to remove and a bit more difficult to put back on. Anyway, there you go, back in place. The muzzle, it's not the tidiest crowning job, but it's pretty accurate, so they must have got it reasonably well sorted. Rifled steel barrel. BSA made some very good barrels, so no surprise that the accuracy is all right with this. Other controls, well, you've got a safety, and we'll come to that in a minute. And otherwise, the trigger is adjustable, so there's a small keyway. So through the grip here, get the light on it, you can get down through. There's a little hex drive on the end of the trigger, and that just sets the sear engagement. So go carefully with that. You can get it very light, but then you get to the point where slapping the barrel shut stands a good chance of letting the pistol off. The grip, that iconic grip, black plastic. This one not too bad considering its age. They do mark up. You can polish them to get them shiny again, but it's a working pistol. And then again on the bottom of the butt, you've got the cover, which you have to take off to get to the mounting screw, and again the BSA Piled Arms device. Quite a profile there. The contour of the grip, you've got quite a decent thumb rest there, very shiny as you can see from that, and a bit of stippling on it. For the size of the pistol, the grip is pretty good actually. It's not too big and not too small, so there's nothing much you can do to alter it, but they got it right. Size-wise, it's about right. I've got a medium hand, so yes, if you've got a really big hand, you might find this a bit of a struggle, but as it is, it's pretty good. Operating it, well, with all that on the front, actually cocking it is quite difficult. So BSA provided a cocking aid, and it's just a plastic sleeve. And the way you work that is you quite simply slide that over the end of the barrel. Now, if you're doing a lot of shooting, just leave it on, but you can cock the pistol and then take it off if you want. It's quite light, so it doesn't make a lot of difference to the overall weight. So with the cocking aid fitted, quite simply break the pistol open, and that reveals the breech with a nylon breech washer and BSA's standard sprung plunger for the detent, and that just locks onto this bar in front of the breech face, which just goes through the cylinder. So very good. When you cock the pistol, that automatically sets the safety on. So break barrel, spring powered, really easy. Take a pellet, drop it into the barrel, close it up. As I said, you can leave the leave that in place, and we'll just try and get far enough back to get it all in screen. Take up the trigger, and then remember you've got to take the safety off, and it fires. Until I'm used to target pistols, safeties, particularly automatic safeties, are not something you have to get used to very much with target pistols. So again, safety just clicks off and you can reset that at any time. So safety off, onto fire, and take up the trigger, and you see you get quite a jump. There's a lot of pistol happening here when you fire this. So we'll do that one more time just to show you that automatically resetting the safety, and there you go, that just sets that up. And it sets it before it actually engages with the trigger, so, or with the sear for the catch on the back of the piston. So quite a big pistol, reputed in its time to be only just short of the legal limit. How accurate is it? Well, pretty accurate actually. That's 10 meters one-handed, and yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. It's certainly not a target pistol, but that's plenty good accuracy. There's 5 shots there. But that's not really very fair, is it? Because what this thing's really good at is bashing up tin cans. So I took some shots with target pistol, target lead, so some Meisterkugeln, and yeah, it split it, but didn't actually go through. And then we got some slightly heavier, slightly more pointed pellets out, and as you can see, it does a pretty good job. So no White Claw can for penetration tests, but the more standard variety of baked bean can works perfectly well. And as you can see, it's pretty accurate even on a baked bean can. So you can chase one of these around all day, shoot it out, get another one. So production dates for these: 1972 through to 1994, so quite a good run, 22 years of making these. Basically, they came out in 2 types. The Mark I, which was 1972 to 1985, which is what this is, and then 1985 through to 94. The difference in the markings is that the 177s were PA for the first for Mark Is, and then PB, and the 22s were RA and RB. Other things about this then, the other difference really is in the sights between the two. So the the early Mark Is didn't have any scope rails. The later Mark Is and all the Mark IIs have scope rails. There isn't a really good kind of cut off between the two. And the rear sight. So as I said, that's not the original rear sight. I did get it with the pistol. This is the original rear sight, and perfectly serviceable. The reason I've taken it off is that, in common with a lot of this design, there is actually a crack across there, and that crack is, if I kept on using it, as you can see, that just opens up. So the elevation is pushing up against this. This is the bit that's actually fixed to the pistol. The elevation is just pushing that up. So if you want to increase the elevation, you're pushing that and stressing it. So it's in one piece. It's the original sight. I don't want to break it, so it's off, and I'm using a replacement, which fits perfectly well. The original sight notch there is a little shallow notch, and that's the other thing. The current notch on that pistol is a much easier one to use. So yeah. Other things about it, well, its size. It's enormous. How enormous? Well, back in my day, being a youth, this was definitely one of the pistols that anybody who was very cool had. And it's huge. How huge? Well, this is the other pistol everyone wanted. It's a Webley Premier. And I said just huge. Just look at the size of this thing. So yeah, my battered old Webley Premier. We'll see that again another time. But for now, yeah, just the scale of this thing. I mean, everyone said, oh, it's a cut down Meteor. Well, The cylinder size is actually mercury, BSA mercury diameter, so it's not a meteor from that bit. The trigger is really very complicated and very good. So if you ever get one of these, parts for the trigger units are very difficult to come by, particularly the safety system. They are difficult to work on. There's a lot of little bits and pieces. They're a pain to put together, but when they're working well, it's a really good trigger. Even if from a target shooting point of view, it's got that really annoying automatic safety, which caught me out yet again. So there you go, the BSA Scorpion, a legend in its own lifetime and the lustful item of many a young shooter when they came out, and it didn't help their sales at all that the first versions of the 2.2 pistol were actually drawn back in and had a longer piston added to them because they were found to be perilously close to the 6 foot-pound UK limit. Whether they actually were or not, who knows? It was a very good marketing tool, and certainly any of us who were out there looking for a pistol, this was the thing to have, and just the sheer scale of it is pretty impressive. So I hope you've liked this. If you have, then please like, share, subscribe, tell other people about it, hit the bell icon so you get to see some more pistols, and otherwise I'll see you again soon with another pistol. Thanks very much. Bye.